But it is very clear to me that there are a lot of other factors that nobody wants to talk about. Why? Because it hurts your feelings? Today we are going to discuss the case of Rick Chow and the tragedy of Cyrus Carmack-Belton. And this is your favorite half Chinese. Now I'm going to give a little warning just to start off. I'm going to be brutally honest about this case. It also triggered a boycott on the entire Asian community, all their shops, etc. And the people started to make phone calls to order things and not picking up. And we're going to discuss this all. I'm going to give my insight on it, what I think of it. I'm going to be brutally honest. So if you cannot take that, then this is the time for you to just scroll to another video, because this video probably is not for you. Having said that, let's just roll into it. I have the video right here. It is from the store itself, and this video has been used in the trial, and we're going to see what was actually going on, what transpired. So the one walking in the red here, that is Cyrus Carmack-Belton. I hope I say the name correctly. I'm not sure if Americans say Carmack or would they say Charmack, because yeah. So you see the kid is pacing back and forth. Now mind you, this kid did not have money. Now I'm not aware if he was aware that he didn't have money or that he came in the store for other things, but he is pacing around, and it looks more or less to me like he is looking at what the situation is in the store. Now I have been young, and I was yeah not the person that I am today. Now you see him walking back and forth, going to the store, looking at the counter. He is, to me it looks like he is observing what the situation is in the store. Now he's pulling open, here you see it, this is a fridge, a refrigerator where the drinks are in, right? And you see him, he is pulling out things. You can see it in another frame even better. And I think we're almost going to that frame, right? And here we will see a very good view of him opening. Now you see clearly that he is pulling things out, right? 3 bottles. Then, now he's putting them back, as this lady, the wife of Rick Chow, is going to peek on him or watch him. He might have noticed her. Now what could be the case here? It could be the case that he is like, oh man, I forgot my money, let me put it back. It's possible, right? It is also possible that he really wanted to steal, then notice somebody is creeping up on him, which in this case is the wife of Rick Chow, and then yeah, let's just not do it today and just put the drinks back, right? So she's standing there behind, watching like a hawk, looking at it, and he is just walking away. Now we are here on the end clip, where he's walking away. We all saw he didn't have a drink, and here is his bag, which he had to leave there when coming in. That's a normal practice when you are having a shop in the hood. And she's asking him, and he is like showing, yeah, I don't have anything that you have, right? But as you could see in right before, you might think that he stole something, right? Because he did take things out and then put it back, and then you want to walk out like that. There was a problem with this kid had a gun. And probably because he was having a gun on him, he didn't want to open or show everything, because the gun would come out. And obviously he would be afraid that they might call the cops on him. That's a very, very tragic point, and I think that is something also for the people to remember what actually caused it. If he didn't have the gun, would he not be like, "Oh yes, sure, search me," just to get rid of it and go home, right? I don't have anything to hide, but he had something to hide. He didn't steal, but he had something to hide, and that was the gun. Now, is that a do I think that he should have been shot? My opinion, no. There's so many things going on, what I really want to talk about. But first, I want you to click that like button and subscribe. And also, I have a Buy Me a Coffee for the people that can and want to support my work. The link will be in the bio, in the description. So, let's get back to what actually was going on. So, we've seen him taking things out of the fridge and putting things back. This is a shop in the hood, so obviously a lot of people will steal from them. And that is why they are also like, you need to place your bag at the entrance. You're not allowed to wander around with your bag. This kid is walking around, through my humble observation, remembering me as a kid in a shop. Yeah, I wasn't the best one to get in your shop at his age. I think at his age I already was a little bit over that, but I know how people will look when they are trying to steal. And in my humble observation, whether he was or had intention to steal or not, it certainly looked like he was scouting, like, what is going on, and especially when he took out the water. Now, obviously, I'm also saying, being honest, he might think that he had money on him and just remember that he didn't have money, so he put the drinks back. That's also a possibility. I'm not saying he did anything whatsoever, right? But very tragically, obviously, the lady will ask him what's going on. Now, here he's going to walk out, and you can see here right below with the cap, that is the son of the owner, Rick Chow, and here on the other side you have Rick Chow. And this is where everything goes wrong. They are going outside and chase him. Now, to me, this would not be necessary over a bottle of water. However, I also understand that when you have a shop and people steal from you this much, you're going to be, a little bit over the top at times. Me also had a shop, etc., and also worked in a shop, know all about it. People steal, and when it gets a lot, and often the police will not help you, then people will take everything in their own hand, which is not good, by the way. I do not endorse that behavior. However, this is a little kid. What I would have done in their situation, I would have asked the kid if he was thirsty. If you are thirsty, just take the bottle of water. If you don't have the money, I will give it to you. It's just a bottle of water. I at the same time will tell him, but I do not want you to come in here and steal our stuff. Right? So you give them also a lesson. And I think in a situation like with kids, that's a good way to go, because kids will remember this, and they will not be like, oh yeah, next time I will come in. Because first of all, you already showed them that you have eyes like a hawk, and you also humbled him with kindness, right? I think that is what they should have done. You see, now they're running outside, chasing the guy after. And yeah, that's just a very, very, very tragic thing that transpired. Let's see what's going on right now. So here you see him getting out of the store. And now you see the son and the father getting out of the store, and the mother. Now here you see they were pausing here and running after him. Yeah, it's just very tragic. They come at a certain place. The kid was losing things along the way. I believe he lost a shoe and threw something else away. And then, according to them, he pulled out his gun. Now, did he want to shoot them or not? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody can say that. Only they know, right? But once you're pulling out a gun, maybe he wanted to throw it away. But once the father saw the gun, or the son said something, yeah, he got a gun, then the father pulls his gun and shoot him. That is what actually transpired. So it is a quite tragic story. What really, really didn't need to happen, to be honest. But the story isn't really that black and white. You cannot just blame one party. So a part of the black community, I would say a part, because I've also seen numerous videos calling that the boycott on Asian shops is just a bunch of BS and is counterproductive, as I also think is the case. It doesn't serve any purpose. It is just being silly, and it's not going to bring the kid back, and it's not going to make the make the situation any better. The position of the people who do that is that Asians are being disrespectful to the Black African community when they're having their shops in what the Black African community says their community, which I found odd because most of the buildings over there are owned by white corporations, not by black corporations or black people. So what kind of community is yours if you don't own anything in it? But that is something maybe to think about. The other thing is, in my view, if somebody is having a shop in what you call your community, then the shop belongs to your community. I've seen a lot of segregation thoughts in the black community, which to me is kind of weird since you lived under the segregation laws in the United States. Why is your mindset like you need to live segregated? This is my community and you do not look like us, so you're not a part of our community. And since you earn money, you need to treat us in a certain way, but we do not have to treat you in a certain way. And that doesn't match up. So we're going to talk about accountability. So because you guys all want to talk about the communities, how about first look at your own community? A kid, 14 years old. He's thugging. And nobody can convince me that he's not. Because I, as a youngster, was thugging. As a youngster, I would carry weapons. I had friends who weren't. They did not carry weapons. This is very, very easy. Now, a lot of people say, oh yeah, but he was a good kid. Now, let me tell you something. All kids are by nature good. It is us, our societies, and what we call communities that they grow up in are a lot of times screwed up, creating delusions and illusions in these little kids' minds, leading them astray from their pure heart. Maybe a lot of black people are going to hate me for this, but that's a very common thing in especially the black community. What I see, because I also liked gangster rap, Ghetto Boys. I was a fan of the Ghetto Boys. NWA. Yeah, that's old school. Many of you don't know it. It was better than the drill rap then, now, but it still was normalizing not normal behavior in a kid's mind. At that time, mine. Right? And that is what's going on. Would he been shot if he had not had a gun? I would almost for a certainty say no. Why? Because he would say, okay, search me. F you. I don't have anything. So, search me. Now, I saw a couple of adults, oh, it's all right not to be searched, blah, blah, blah. Bro, a kid doesn't think like that. in that situation. And I've been in many of these situations that he was. Many. Almost 365 a year. Literally. So I know what is going on. And when I see somebody is walking around like that in a store, most of the time, they want to steal. But again, I do not think that that is a reason to pull the trigger on a kid. I do not think that Rick Chow handled it in the correct way. But I want to show all the parties involved in order to maybe all together think about a couple of things and be able to change so the future 14-year-old will have a better chance in life. How about it? But to do that, you need to be brutally honest. And if you have kids wiling out and tugging and their idols are drill rappers, that's not a good future. That is what creates the situation that they think that they need to walk with a gun on them. That creates a situation that when something happens, you will run because you don't want to get caught with a gun. That will create a situation that if you pull it out and somebody sees it, they might pull one on you too. Now, I'm not saying that it is justified, because I don't think that violence ever is justified. But I know how things can go, especially through my own experience. And that is why I make this video, to make people, I really want people to think like maybe we should change something. And I know a lot of black people told me about my other video, you don't get to tell us what we have to do. Well, I didn't even say anything what people have to do. You can do whatever you want. Honestly, you can do whatever you want. But you also need to understand that if you keep continuing this way, these situations will keep occurring. Did Rick Chow handle correctly? In my opinion, no. As I already said in the earlier video, because it's a kid, just let it go and just maybe give him a bottle of water. Maybe even ask him if he needs to have a job. That's what I would do. If it was an adult, it would be a totally different story. But, you know, for kids, why would you run behind them? I can understand the frustration, but still, it's a kid. But this is a situation that has been created. A situation that the Black African community is now angry at the Asians. Because, oh, you guys are being disrespectful. Are you guys being respectful when you enter the Asian shops? And be honest, yes or no? Stealing, robbing, murdering, calling the women the B word all the time, wiling out. Does that give anything to somebody to treat others bad? No. But it does plant the seeds for the fruits that you don't want to eat. Everything is cause and condition, and it's cause and effect. And this is what you create. So I've seen many videos before this video, because I was watching extensively all the videos, and all the videos also of black people in Asian shops, what they're doing. That's not pretty. So I totally understand that when they see other black people, oh, here we go again. And I don't say that that is the correct way. I don't think it is. But it is kind of human nature. You want to earn the respect, then earn it. Earn it. Why do you treat the Asian stores like they're not in your community? They either bought the store or they're renting it. Either way, it's not yours, it's theirs. Just like most of the buildings in those areas are not owned by your community. Why do you play a game of segregation? Did the Chinese fight for nothing to get rid of the Jim Crow laws? Yes, that's what the Chinese also did, right? The same Chinese that you're attacking right now. There's no accountability from the part of the black community that thinks like, oh, why is that kid walking with a gun on him? And still, again, not saying that that is a reason to take his life. Absolutely not. But it sure is something to think about. What was he doing in the store? Who taught him that? What is going on in his household? You could save another kid. But instead of that, a part of the black community, and I don't even think it's a very big part, but it's the loudest part, wants to boycott all Asian shops. Okay, so you're going to do that. You're going to place fake orders. And at the same time, you want them to respect you? If I would go to your store, place fake orders, steal, lie, and call your women bees, etc., do you think that you would respect me for that? I mean, honestly, respect comes from both ways. You want to blame all Asians, all Asian shops for something that they literally have nothing to do with. But you have a problem with Asian shop owners, how you are being treated because of what other members of your community are doing in their shops. That doesn't make any sense. Does it? So I think it's a tragedy, and I think that this was, way over. But if you don't agree with the outcome of the trial, why don't you protest? The Ministry of whatever it is that is going about those kind of things. Yeah, I don't live in the United States. I just remember that I don't know which department you should be protesting at. None. Nothing. Why aren't you protesting the tremendous amounts of gangs in your community that are causing innocent little children to lose their life every single day? You're not protesting that. Could it be that they are the cause? I mean, surely he had to buy that gun from somebody. And surely it was not in a store. So who would have given them that? A Crip? A Blood? Another gang? Nobody is protesting that? Why are you not protesting drill rap, which is literally glorifying crimes? That is brainwashing your kids because they listen to it every single day, all day long. Their idols are people who are singing about running trains on women and taking lives of others, stealing from others, pushing dope on under others. Everything what will land them either 6 feet under, like this kid, or in prison for life. But you don't seem to care when it comes to that. In fact, many of these people that are so-called angry with the whole entire Asian community, which have literally zero to do with this, are probably also working and singing the same lyrics every single day where kids are. So when the kid is looking at the elder, seeing they are behaving like that, that's probably the way that we should behave. But no accountability for that, no protest against that. Mr. Phone, you will not tell us what we can do or not do. And I'm not. I'm just analyzing a situation because I've been there and I've analyzed myself. How did I get there when I was young? And there's many factors. It's not just one factor. But maybe that is something to think about. You're upset over one life, but not upset about all the lives that happened between that life was taken all the way up till the trial, that were taking their lives by the gangs of your community. You're not upset by them. You're not upset by the gangs that gave illegal substances to your kids, made them a little bit crazy, and then ended up in prison. You're not upset with that. No. Let's just glorify that. Thugging. Honestly, these people, they call themselves gangsters. You ain't no gangster. You a punk. Gangsters don't act that way. Again, you ain't no gangster. You are a punk. Gangsters do not act that way. Maybe it is time for the people to start to think there's something wrong in our community, why things are happening like they are happening. And again, as I already said, mentioned a couple of times in this video, I do not think that this should have happened. But it is very clear to me that there are a lot of other factors that nobody wants to talk about. Why? Because it hurts your feelings? Meanwhile, you don't want to listen to what's hurting your feelings. By your non-action, it is planting the seeds of another fruit that you don't want to eat. Another 14-year-old maybe. For the next time, who you gonna be angry at then? If it is a white shop owner, will you boycott all white shops too? No, you won't. So you are against racism and then you start to be acting like a racist? What? You are treating people disrespectful and then you demand respect? What? You're trying to destroy people their business, but you want them to respect you. People who have done you no harm. While the ones that are actually really, really harmful in your community is what you are glorifying. And that is what I have to say about it. And let me know what you all think of this. And obviously, I don't, I will just say this. This is not an easy video to make. Probably is going to give a lot of hate. But if I can let people think about it, then already it's a win. Because maybe we can save another kid's life from going down the drain. Maybe some parents will sit there and think like, yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to let my kids listen to these kind of songs. Right? Maybe I should teach my kids something else than twerking and, other bad things, singing songs about smoking weed. I mean, seriously. I hope that people really, really will wake up. And I hope you also will understand that you boycotting Asian shops is not going to help you with anything. Honestly, nothing. Uh, Action, reaction, cause, and effect. These circumstances have been created by all these things that I mentioned before. And again, I don't think that he should have done that. Still think that he should have offered a bottle of water to the kid. I also think that this kid should not be walking with a gun. This is a huge failure. First of his parents, then of his entire community around him who taught him that. Or maybe they were not teaching him anything, which is more often the case. So they find other role models on the streets. And the streets will only bring you in two places. One is where young Cyrus, unfortunately, is now, and the other is in prison. But don't listen to me. You can do whatever you want. It's not my community. Although to me, everybody in the world is a community. These are not my kids. Although I would hate to see another kid go astray because the elderly lack the discipline and the love for their kids to teach them better and to protect them from harm. And this was your favorite half Chinese. Please like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. And as always, have a great day.